Fitness literally changed my life, both personally and professionally. And in this video, I'm gonna share with you why that happened and how it happened, what I did to make it happen, and what you can do as well to make it happen for yourself. Now, if you're new here, my name is Jesse, and I'm an online coach and trainer for men all over the world. And if you're returning, then welcome back. Thank you so much for watching. For me, it all started at the end of high school. I played basketball in high school, and I didn't even consider the idea of working out until my senior year basketball season stopped, and all of a sudden I had 2 hours of my day free where I was no longer practicing. So naturally, I wanted to fill that time with something active, and that's when I started strength training. Now, at the beginning, like most people, I sucked at it. It was really uncomfortable. Literally, the first time I ever bench pressed was in my high school gym, and it was at like a basketball team practice. And literally, I just pressed the bar right into the side of the bench, and someone had to like help get it off. Like, it was a disaster. So it ends up being kind of funny that that's the thing that would end up being my expertise, and that the area that I would end up helping so many people in. But as I said, I really sucked at it. It didn't come naturally to me at the beginning, and I'd say that most people, this is the case when they start working out or when they start going to the gym. It's not something they're good at, and it can even be intimidating to go into the gym and using the machines and the free weights and all these things that maybe aren't obvious in regards to how to use them initially. And this is one reason why fitness really made a difference for me as a shy young kid. It's because it is the best confidence builder of anything that I know of. Because when you initially stink at something, you're not very good, or you're very weak in this case in the gym or in working out, naturally from working out, you're going to get stronger. And it happens fairly quickly. In a few weeks and a few months, if you're consistent with working out, you go from being weak and not good at it to seeing noticeable change in how much weight you can lift and how comfortable you are with the exercises. And that is literally building confidence. So for really the first time, I saw myself doing something that I was no good at all, and become better and better and better at it. And it gave me the confidence to go out and do other things in my life. And in college is where I really started getting serious about working out and fitness. I was working out most days, and I even got certified as a personal trainer when I was a sophomore in college. I figured, hey, I love this fitness stuff now. It would be really cool to be a personal trainer in the summers or part-time, while I'm finishing up college. And I did exactly that. I got certified through NASM, which is one of the more well-known certifications. I worked at a small privately owned studio 30 or so minutes from my college campus. I worked there for about a year, and then eventually I moved on to Equinox, which was also nearby, and that was a big change. At the small studio, there was the owner, the manager, and me. So there was only 3 trainers, and one of them was the owner of the business. And man, that was such a great learning experience, and I got to see what it was like actually for the first time training adults. Before, I was just sort of helping out my friends and working out with my friends in my college gym. So this was really my first experience of working with adults on their fitness. And when I moved on to Equinox, it was a totally different environment. There were 30 trainers. It was fairly cutthroat in that we were all competing for the same clients, right? All the gym members, it was our job to try to get clients and essentially make sales. And it was a very high turnover job. There were people who would join the gym as personal trainers, and a week later they'd be gone. I remember some of the more experienced trainers wouldn't even introduce themselves or acknowledge the new trainers for at least a couple months, because they figured this person might not even be here in a few weeks from now. Now, as I was working part-time as a trainer in the summers, I was not under the impression that fitness was going to be my full-time career. I was going in with the mindset that I was going to get a job in business, in the corporate world. It didn't even cross my mind that fitness, you'd be able to earn enough to support yourself doing that. So I got a number of business internships, and my senior year of college, I had an internship at Morgan Stanley, which was a really good experience. But I had a real eye-opening experience on, I believe it was the last day of that internship. I'm a senior in college. At this point, I really love fitness, but I'm not pursuing it as a full-time career once I'm done with college. And on that last day of my Morgan Stanley internship, one of the people that worked there had a heart attack right there in the office. And he was taken out in an ambulance and to the hospital. And I remember hearing people saying, it'll be okay, he'll be fine. He was, I believe, 52 years old. And it turns out he was not okay. He ended up passing away, and it was really tough experience and really sad, and that really opened my eyes. I didn't know him personally, but it really opened my eyes to the idea that fitness wasn't just about building a great body. I was very much into it to, get ripped and to look really good and to build my confidence, right? And this was the first real life example that showed me that fitness was not just about that. It wasn't just about looking good. It wasn't just about building a great body, but it was about longevity. It was about your health. It was about being able to spend more years with your loved ones and to set yourself up to, be as healthy for as long as you could. Because at that point, I'm 22 years old, 52. I knew a lot of people. My parents were older than that at the time. And it was almost that exact day that really made me realize that this fitness stuff was very, very important and that people needed help to improve their fitness and their health. And it maybe wasn't just some nice side hobby or part-time job, but maybe it could be something more than that. And coming off of the back of that experience, I sort of decided to start my own fitness business, which would still not be my full-time job. I initially wanted to get a corporate job, and I did get a number of corporate jobs following college, and I started my fitness business where I was personal training private clients on the side outside of those 9 to 5 corporate hours. Now, this is the part of my journey where I actually started struggling a bit with my fitness, really for the first time, because there was a lot on my plate, right? I was working, it was more than 9 to 5. Maybe it was like 8 to 6 or 7 in Manhattan, and I wasn't living in Manhattan. So I was commuting into the city, which took an hour, hour and a half most of the time. So I had to be up early for that. I was working 8 to 6 or 7, and then I was on some days training private clients before and after work hours. I would travel to their building in Manhattan, train them in their building gym, change into my business clothes, and then go to the office at that point. Or I would train them after work hours. So that doesn't leave a whole lot of time for my own workouts. And it also made nutrition fairly difficult. At this point, yes, I was a certified personal trainer, but I only had 1 or 2 years of experience. And a personal trainer with 1 or 2 years of experience, quite honestly, usually doesn't know shit about nutrition. So at the time, we're talking about like 10 years ago at this point, I was under the impression, because all of us were told this, that we had to eat every few hours. We needed to eat a small, healthy meal every 2 to 3 hours. And I was really trying my best to prepare meals. On Sundays, I would spend hours cooking meals and putting them into Tupperware and bringing a lunch bag into my corporate job. And they just tasted terribly. And this is the strategy that, I'm not saying it's wrong or bad, it's just a strategy that requires the most amount of work. To cook 25 or 30 meals in the week, takes a lot of time and effort. And I didn't have that, commuting back and forth into New York City, working a corporate job, plus building a side hustle business in the hours outside of work and on the weekends. So this was a real struggle. And, eventually I started learning more about nutrition. I started hiring some coaches for myself to help me do better with my fitness. And they shared some strategies with nutrition that were way more sustainable and fit into my lifestyle way more conveniently. And this is when I was finally able to, build a physique and body composition that really I was happier with since starting real life after college. But it definitely came with some struggle first. And to be honest, it was a real grind working a corporate job and then traveling around the city to various locations, working with a client at their building on this side of the city. And then some people didn't have a gym in their building, so I would rent out a personal training studio for 50% of my sessions session fee closer to this client over here. And, you know, it was a lot of going back and forth and going around the city, you know, just to train a handful of clients. So I decided to start more consulting with fitness and nutrition and coaching people online. And that's when in 2017, I started what I called the Modern Man program, which was a way to coach men regardless of where they were living. You know, most of my clients were in New York City, but I started coaching clients even in other states and other countries with this online virtual consulting, essentially telling them what to do, telling them how to eat for their goals, telling them what workouts to do, how to change their program. I would hold them accountable and we would do check-ins and calls. And I found that not only did I like this style of coaching better, it ended up being more effective than traditional personal training and what I was doing all along. So from 2017 up until currently, this is how I've been coaching clients, and it's turned into a community and a business that I never thought would ever happen. I've met so many amazing guys. I've had the privilege of coaching literally hundreds of men from all over the place to reach their fitness goals, to get in better shape, to improve their health, and to have actual support and guidance from me one-on-one, but also from the other guys in the community as we go through this fitness journey together. And it became such a close-knit group that even when we got married in 2023, there was a handful of guys that I work with that are clients of mine who came to our wedding from various states. They flew in to be part of the wedding, which was amazing. And throughout this time, from 2017 up until present day, I've progressed in my own fitness journey in various ways. I've competed in multiple men's physique competitions, so I've really learned at a high level, really the highest level possible, what it takes in regards to eating and training and cardio and just holistically what is best to build the most shredded and lean physique you're physically capable of building. And that knowledge and those tools that I've learned from hiring coaches to help me compete in men's physique, I've used over the years with my own clients who are not generally competitors. They're just normal, everyday, hardworking men who, you know, want to get in better shape and want to do it in a sustainable way. So transferring those methods and those ideas that are proven to work over to them in a more sustainable way has been a big part of my journey over the years. And like anything else, you gradually improve in various areas as you go. I've layered in different aspects of my own program to continue working on, and that's what I really love about fitness as well, which is you're never done. You never reach a final destination and you're good to go. You don't have to improve on anything anymore. There's always more you can improve on. So I started back in college just working out at the gym, just strength training, because that's what I enjoyed. But I wasn't doing any cardio. I wasn't not only eating well, but I was eating terribly. I was having desserts every single day. And it was a very one-dimensional fitness routine. It was me basically just working out and ignoring everything else. A few years later, I decided, you know what, I'm ready to start taking nutrition a little bit more seriously. I learned from those coaches that I mentioned. I learned how to track my food. I learned how to eat in a very strategic way to build the most shredded physique possible for a men's physique competition. And I've learned an insane amount from tracking my food about the nutrition content of the foods that I eat. And then a few years later, I started to monitor how many steps I was getting in per day. So the cardio side of things, I totally wasn't interested in until about 2019 when I started to monitor my daily steps. And at the time I was averaging probably in the range of 3,000 to 5,000 steps per day. So I wasn't incredibly active outside of my normal workouts, but actively paying attention to it more and knowing that it was important. I think there was a study that came out that said your amount of daily steps per day is directly related to your all-cause mortality and how long you live. So I thought, you know what? Living long is important to me. I'm gonna start prioritizing this particular habit because if it's that directly related to longevity, I want it to be part of my routine. And I've been able to increase my daily steps on average every year since then. So now I currently aim to get about 10 to 12,000 steps per day. I've got a standing desk here. I've got an under the desk walking pad that I use every single day for between 1 and 3 hours, which usually helps me get to that 10,000 or more steps range pretty easily. Now, at the time of making this video, it's 2025, and just this year, I've started to incorporate more mobility and flexibility training. As a younger guy who wants to look ripped, that's not the first priority that you are usually interested in, right? It wasn't something that was on my radar until recently. I'm 32 now. I want to be able to train for as long as possible while limiting the risk of injuries. I want to be able to move around and play basketball and do other activities, go hiking, be active, without the risk of getting injured. And having some good mobility and flexibility drills included in your program is really important to make that happen. So I've included that now for the last 8 months or so, and it's really been helpful in being able to train at a high level. And I haven't gotten injured nearly as much this year compared to past years. So my point in sharing, this aspect of my fitness journey and the progressions I've had in my own program is to show you that nobody has it all figured out, has every single area figured out from day one. I started working out for 3 or 4 years before I even considered attempting anything with nutrition. And then it was another 2 or 3 years before I even considered adding in any sort of cardio. And then it was another 4 years until I incorporated mobility and flexibility. So over the years, as I've mastered each habit little by little, I've added in new ones as they've become more important to me as my life goes on. And I'm certain there'll be more habits and more aspects to my holistic fitness program as time goes on and as I get older and as our life changes and adapts. And as I learn more about each aspect myself, I can then incorporate those things even more into my clients' programs as well. So me learning about the various aspects of fitness and training and nutrition, incorporating them in my own life, allows me to become a better coach and allows me to help my clients in various areas as well. And at this point, after being a personal trainer for 13, 14 years at this point, I've seen everything. I've had clients who are complete beginners, never touched a weight before, who needed to lose 75, 80 pounds, 100 pounds, and went on to do it. And I've also had plenty of clients who were already in pretty good shape. They already were working out, already were doing cardio, but they needed to fine tune a few things in their program and tighten up their approach a little bit more to get to the next level. And I've had people do that who came in at 15% body fat, in a pretty good spot, already working out 4 or 5 times a week, get absolutely more shredded and get visible abs in their 40s and even in their 50s. So no matter what situation you're in right now, whether you're a complete beginner and you've got a long journey ahead and you've got a lot of weight to lose, or if you're someone who already really likes fitness and it's part of your life and it's already important to you and you just want to take it to the next level, just know that it's very possible. There's somebody out there facing the same obstacles, maybe more obstacles than you currently have, who is successfully doing it, and you can do it as well. And to anyone else who is working in the fitness industry too, anything's possible there as well. If you want to make fitness your full-time career and have it support you and your family, you can absolutely do that. It's not going to be easy, of course. There may be a number of things that you have to do, or it may take longer than you want, but it certainly is possible to make that a reality. So if you needed just a little bit of hope, a little bit of optimism, or a little bit of a push to get started on your journey, whether it be in fitness or pursuing fitness as a career, I really hope this was helpful. If you have any questions, please leave them down in the comments below. Subscribe to my channel if you want to see more videos like this. I upload 1 or 2 videos per week, and I go live on Wednesdays at 12 p.m. Eastern time. So if you want to join me on a live video and ask any questions there, you absolutely can. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll catch you on the next video.